heal the hearts of the believers.
Okay.
You see? I mean, if you don't remember that, I mean, it's Surah number 9, verse 14. Okay? And now I'm going to tell you, because all the news and all the officials that are banging their heads in the wall, you know, trying to find the motive.
Yeah.
The motive behind, you know, Hassan, you know, the Muslim, for doing this. And actually, as you said it, I mean, I was calling, I mean, to say exactly what you said. You know, that, you know, the imam, the Muslim imam gave the motive.
Yeah.
Gave the motive that, you know, he's a good Muslim. I mean, we've been, I mean, for the last 30 years, the Western world was banging, you know, their heads. They were banging their heads in the wall, and whether Western population or Western officials, you know, asking the question, which became the century question: who is the good Muslim? And we have the answer today. We have the answer from, you know, the authority that is qualified to give the answer, which is the Imam of Hassan. I mean, for our, you know, viewers and listeners, you know, I have to specify that the imam for a Muslim is like the confessor priest, you know, for the Catholic, or for like the counselor pastor, you know, for a Christian Protestant. You see, so, I mean, who else have the authority and is more qualified than an Islamic imam and the Islamic imam of Hassan himself, I mean, to say that he's a good Muslim?
Well,
So,
Brother Sam, let me ask you then.
I'm sorry?
If you had the authority to make a change concerning Muslims in the United States military, what would you do? Would you outlaw Muslims in the United States military? Would you make them do certain things or take certain oaths? Or what would you do if you had the authority to make a change in that policy?
Pastor Joseph, they only have to read the Quran and find out for themselves. Because let me tell you this, you know, people think that this is the catastrophe of all catastrophe, and which it is. Actually, this surpasses, you know, 9/11. That's a new threshold, Pastor Joseph, for America. Because you see, 9/11, it came from outside.
Yeah.
Even Pearl Harbor, which was called, I mean, the most infamous day in the history of America.
Yeah.
It came from outside. But this came from inside.
Good point.
And I mean, for whoever and all the people in America that think that this is the catastrophe of all catastrophes, let me tell them this, and this is a new, I mean, this is, you know, a first, I mean, to be told. Well, I mean, this is just the beginning, because the catastrophe of all catastrophes is what you're going to do with all the Muslims in the police force.
Yeah, yeah.
What you're going to do with all the Muslims in the security, you know, businesses.
I mean, did you hear the news, Brother Sam, in Hamtramck, Michigan now, they have, what is it, half of
the council, city council now is Muslims.
And the Muslim is going to be a Muslim mayor.
And the Yemeni guy, the doctor there, he is expecting to be the mayor of Hamtramck.
And they have the call to prayer on loudspeakers
4
throughout
times a
the
day.
city. 4 times a day.
4 times a day.
Yeah. So what do you think,
Pastor
Sam?
Joseph, you want my opinion?
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very good. Let the American people allow Muslims to build mosques, I mean, on every corner. Let them allow, you know, Muslim mayors. Let them allow Muslim politicians, because I'll tell you something, Pastor Joseph. It's the American people that are going to pay the price.
Yeah.
They're going to, you see, it's unbelievable. I mean, there is people that always never learn until they pay the price. You know what they're saying on Muslim sites and Muslim sites on the internet, Brother Joseph?
What they say?
You want to hear?
Go ahead.
Pastor Joseph.
Go ahead.
We're
listening. Yeah.
I mean, how Muslims are thrills all over the internet, including Muslims from America, posting, you know, on forums, Islamic forums on the internet. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Go ahead.
I mean, Brother Hassan is the hero to shake the souls of the kuffar. And we shall punish them gradually from directions they perceive not. You know, I mean, and things like, I mean, he was very smart. He was very smart. And following following Allah, following the commandments of Allah, to swear the oath, swear the oaths of the American and swear the oaths of the military.
And he's using taqiyya, isn't he? Taqiyya.
This is not me saying this, Pastor Joseph, or any of you. This is Muslim saying this, on Muslim forums.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm telling you, they are thrilled.
Thank you, Sam, for what you shared. That's very valuable. I really appreciate what you've shared. We've got to move on, but thank you so much. I'm going to share right now. I appreciate you sharing what Muslims are saying. I'm going to share now just a little bit of what Muhammad said and what Islamic scholars say about this idea of deception. This man, his whole life in the United States military was deception. Listen to what Muhammad said. It's narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, the strongest of all hadith, volume 5, book 59, number 369. Allah's apostle said, "Who is willing to kill Ka'b bin al-Ashraf, who has hurt Allah and his apostle?" By the way, do you know how he hurt Allah and his apostle? He was using poetry that satirized Muhammad. So because this poet was speaking evil of Muhammad, Muhammad asked someone to assassinate him. Thereupon Muhammad bin Maslama got up saying, "O Allah's apostle, would you like that I kill him?" The Prophet said, "Yes." Muhammad bin Maslama said, "Then," listen carefully, "then allow me to say a false thing to deceive Ka'b." The Prophet said, "You may say it." Not only did Muhammad order the assassination of someone who has insulted the Prophet, which is through poetry, which is exactly, you see in London, remember those signs? One of them is, "Behead those who insult Islam." Where did he get that from? He got it from Muhammad. Muhammad is insulted. This person didn't hurt Muhammad with the fist or with the sword or attack him or threaten him. He simply wrote a poem that satirized him, and Muhammad had this man, Ka'b bin al-Ashraf, assassinate him, and when he said, "Can I use deception?" he said, "Go right ahead. Go ahead. Use deception." That's Muhammad. Now look carefully at what the Muslim scholars have said on this issue of Muslims being in Dar al-Harb, using deception, using lies, using dissimulation to try to get the better of what they believe are the kuffars, the unbelievers. Islamic scholars have long elaborated on the meaning of this tradition and others like it in modern and classical commentaries on the Quran. In short, this is what the Muslim scholars' summary of their belief on using deception, especially in Dar al-Harb, in the lands of what they call the infidels. Muslims are politically, or if Muslims are politically or militarily unable to demand concessions and abridge freedom of speech through legislation or organized force, they are permitted to use deceit and assassination. Why? To achieve the goals of Islam. Once the government is under the control of the Muslims, this usually becomes unnecessary. But when Islam is in a weakened condition, there you go, behold those who insult Islam. That was after the cartoons, the Danish cartoons. Where did he get that from? From Muhammad himself. Once the government is under the control of the Muslims, this usually becomes unnecessary. But while Islam is in a weakened condition, listen carefully. Muslim scholars say, and I quote, "Lying is an essential tool for the propagation of the Islamic ideology and the slow integration of the host nation into a carbon copy of 7th century Arabia." The weakened condition I wrote of, the individual wrote of earlier, is coined by who? By Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a book titled "The Sword on the Neck of the Accuser of Muhammad." He says in which he outlined the expectation of living peacefully in a non-Muslim state. Muslims are to forgive and be patient, and believers, and I quote Ibn Taymiyyah, Muslim scholar, believers should lie to the people of the book. That is, Jews and Christians. Until what? Until the believers are ready to strive hard against the unbelievers with all of their wealth, persons, property, and souls. Surah 495, 872, and 973. This is exactly what he did. This man lied. He lived a life of lies while he harbored this hatred, even as it says that you can, and resentment to the United States military, and said he wanted to commit jihad. And when he felt the time was right, he did that very thing and committed acts of murder against his people who thought they were friends. Well, it's well-known tradition in Islam. It says, you smile at them, but in your heart you curse them. This is what it says in Islamic tradition and hadith. Well, we have some more callers. Why don't we take the next one right now, and then we'll go to a break after this next caller. Welcome. You're on the air with News and Views.
Hello?
Yes, hello. You're on the air with News and Views.
God bless you, and bless who died, the soldiers who died. I think they are in heaven now.
We pray.
My question is, when there is killings or stupid acts like this, there is always, you have to look for the message and the messengers and the influence of such acts. I mean, the American media, when you have Columbine shooting or others, they always look for the influence of music and Mason and so on. But when it comes to Islam, suddenly they don't discuss the ideology of Islam. They say, oh, there is good Muslims.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, I don't understand it. And one another thing, Pastor Joseph, if you think about it, all religions in the world, from Buddhism and on, they all concentrate about the relation, the spiritual relation between man and the Creator. Islam is the only one who have laws of killing and invading and beating the wives and all these laws,
Right.
That's the only religion. For that, it's time not to call Islam a religion. I think it's a political ideological movement like communism or any of these movements, but it's covered in the name of God.
Well, brother, what do you think of this? I want to ask you a question. What do you think of this? I think that in the United States of America, that Islam, it could be that Islam should be outlawed. Why? People are going to say, well, we have freedom of religion. But because of what you just said, I believe that Islam teaches that every government of the world should be overthrown and an Islamic caliphate should take its place, and Sharia, Islamic law, should be the law of the land. Omar Ahmed, one of the first leaders of the Council of American Islamic Relations, said that very thing some 15 years ago. And so if you have a huge group in America, some 5 million Muslims who are committed to an ideology, which is also a religion, that says the United States government should be overthrown and replaced with an Islamic government and replace our Constitution with Sharia law, I think that there's a good case to be made that organized Islam should be outlawed in the United States of America. What do you think? Are you still with us?
It's gone, maybe.
All right. Well, that's a question for you viewers before we take our break. If Islam indeed is an ideology that says, and I believe that it's very abundantly clear that it does say, that every government of the world should be overthrown, an Islamic government should take its place, Sharia law should be the law of the land, which is going to eliminate the Constitution, eliminate the Senate and the Congress that we currently have. Do you think that Islam should be outlawed in the United States of America? Well, that's a difficult question, a rather racy one, but it's something that we need to ponder as many Americans continue to die and their very lives be threatened. Even this show, even this station, we receive death threats from Muslims, if not on a daily basis, a weekly basis. Why? Simply because we share what we believe about Islam, and more importantly, what we believe about Jesus Christ, who is alone the way, the truth, and the life. Without him, and only through him, can you go to heaven. Well, let's talk more about this and other things right after the break. We'll be right back.
If you enjoy watching this program, please contact us now. We need your prayers and your financial support to keep this program on the air. Give us a call at 248-416-1300.
Welcome back to News and Views.